Professor Jeffrey Sachs of Columbia University and also Jonathan Capehart of the Washington Post. Professor, you were almost prophetic because he was completely clear. He said he doesn't care about the wealthy getting wealthier. He'll slash the education department in Washington, D.C. He'll repeal all the regulations, and you can do it all on a postcard.
It's so pathetic. It's such hackery. It's unbelievable. But this is what passes for grown-up discussion in America. Right. It's nothing but representing the oil sector, which wants to be able to drill anywhere, take whatever money it wants, keep what it, to represent the interests of the millionaires and billionaires who back this guy. And he absolutely would slash the education system, not just in D.C., he'd slash the education system, period, because his numbers are an absolute disgrace. They would close down government.
Jonathan, your reaction to what you were just hearing?
I can't add any more to what Professor Sachs just said. I mean, I was blown away when Governor Perry said that he would slash the Department of Education in half and said, elementary school and middle schools would just have to go by the wayside. Now, how on earth is the United States going to, win the future, compete with China and all these other countries we're trying to economically hold at bay if we're going to slash and burn the education department and programs that are geared towards getting American citizens up and running to compete in the economy of the future? I'm having a hard time, and I'm not an economist and I'm not a numbers guy, but sitting there listening to Governor Perry, that might work for Republican primary voters, but I would guarantee you that there are quite a few people who are sitting and wondering who they're going to vote for in the general election and looking at Governor Perry and thinking, I'm not sure I want this guy in there.
But the truth is, Jonathan, this man has been consistent, and in Texas he's slashed the education budgets. So at least he's consistent about the issue.
Right, he's consistent, but he talks a lot about the jobs that he's created in Texas, and there are a few neighboring governors who will say jobs he stole from them. But also there are some economists, and Jeffrey, correct me if I'm wrong, economists who talk about the types of jobs that Governor Perry has created in Texas, and they're not the high-paying, high-wage jobs that a lot of Americans are looking for. These are minimum wage, and this is not to denigrate those jobs. But Governor Perry is giving the impression that he's creating jobs of this caliber when the jobs he's created don't rise to that level.
Do you agree with that?
Of course, Jonathan is completely right about this. It's not even the beginning of a sophisticated pro-business agenda. This is such unbelievable crudeness, I have to say, and crude oil is a big part of this for the governor. But even a slightly more sophisticated take. The National Association of Manufacturing last week issued a report which said we can't find the skilled workers in our economy. Excellent report. It said we need workers who can do systems engineering, machinists and craftsmen and so forth. And there are hundreds of thousands of jobs we'd fill in America if we had the skilled work. Instead, they're filling them abroad, or they're begging for these H-1B visas to bring in workers from abroad. And then these guys, these characters, it's unbelievable. They're talking about slashing education systems. They want to, Ron Paul wants to close down the Department of Education entirely. Perry, we should give him credit. He only wants to slash it by half. I mean,
that's true.
What kind of America do they actually think people want? And is this an America only where billionaires behind a gated community will do their thing? And then the ignorance of it, that these job creators, sure. You even look at our most sophisticated company, Apple, for example. Wonderful company, wonderful products. It created hundreds of thousands of jobs in China. Where else?
Jonathan, final word to you.
Okay, two things to keep in mind about Governor Perry's plan, which makes it, to me, DOA. One, he has a balanced budget amendment, which Democrats and people on both sides of the aisle say is a non-starter. Remember, that came up during the debt ceiling debate, and that didn't go anywhere. And the other thing is he wants to repeal Obamacare.
Yes.
That's not going to really go anywhere either. In order for that to happen, the Republicans have to take over the Senate.
Ain't going to happen.
And even then, it probably won't happen.
Jonathan Capehart and Jeffrey Sachs, thanks so much for joining us.